A week after a devastating fire, an apartment in New Lou finally comes down tonight. You're taking a look right now at what's left of one of the 310 at New Lou apartment buildings here tonight. Crews are spending hours demolishing the structure that was at the center of a massive fire earlier this week. The orders to tear it down are coming straight from the fire marshal. It's our top story here tonight on the night team. The heartbreaking moments people said goodbye to their home engulfed in flames this past week. Thanks so much for joining us here on the night team. I'm Alex Dieterer. Connor Steffen and photojournalist Elijah McKenzie are live from what's left of one of the 310 at New Lou apartment buildings tonight. Connor, what are you seeing?
Well, Alex, for you and everyone at home, we want to show you what is left of this almost unrecognizable apartment building tonight. Our photojournalist Elijah McKenzie is going to zoom in up to the apartment. This is after hours of demolition. Now, you may be looking and thinking that all of that is just debris, but from what we're learning, that is the torn up and cinched belongings of almost dozens, many of whom watched on tonight as their home was destroyed.
From the destructive fire that raged through this New Lou apartment Monday, captured through the eye of our Sky 11 drone, to the structure's final stance Friday.
This is a big transition for us, but we're pushing through.
As debris and personal belongings fell from the air.
Despite the things you hear back there getting crashed, everybody's still strong.
Dozens watched on in awe from the ground.
This is just a season, and we're gonna get through this.
Many of them were watching their home be destroyed.
I see people today crying on the ground, grabbing stuff. It just brings tears.
The pictures say more than words ever could. In one moment, generosity from a construction worker, reuniting this couple with one of their most prized possessions.
It is what it is, and I mean, I hope insurances definitely start supporting everybody. Sometimes they look for the minimal way to not support anybody. They really do. It's very unfortunate.
U of L medical student Freddie Calderon was lucky enough to make it out with his own prized possession.
So ever since I moved to Louisville, I put this picture on my window, and every time I woke up, I used to see it. It reminded me of why I came to Louisville and to become a doctor and support all my family, community, friends, and the world one day.
With nothing but a picture in hand and his mother, who flew in from Florida, by his side, Calderon watched on with every smash and tear.
God is a God of miracles. I'm Christian of faith. Things are here today, things are not. This is living proof that we're all alive and nobody could have done that but the man above.
The latest update we have from Louisville Fire is the 3-alarm fire displaced 64 Monday across 37 apartments. Many of them lucky to be alive, but leaving most, if not all, their belongings behind.
It breaks my heart to know that most of our personal belongings, even from childhood, that I have in there are still in there. I know everybody else has their things in there right now.
Louisville Fire still doesn't know what caused the fire. They say determining a cause will actually be quite difficult, but to do so, they'll primarily be using drone footage that was caught on Monday, as well as preliminary information that firefighters first got when they arrived on scene on Monday. We're live in Louisville. Connor Steffen, the WHAS11 night team, on your side.
Thank you, Connor. A person is in custody after a shooting and an hours-long standoff in the Shawnee neighborhood. Louisville Metro Police say officers initially responded to a shooting around 10:45 this morning on Lindell Avenue, where they found a man who had been shot. He was taken to the hospital in serious condition. Police say a possible person of interest was seen going into a home nearby on West Broadway. SWAT responded and a standoff then began just before 2 this afternoon. Police told us the situation had ended. Another shooting victim was found inside the home. Police say he had been shot before they arrived. That man is expected to survive, and everyone involved in the incident is accounted for or in custody. The Office for Safe and Healthy Neighborhoods has been awarded $2 million from the Department of Justice to fund a Newburgh gun violence reduction project. The 3-year program will focus on interrupting violence before it starts. WHAS11 night teams Taylor Woods and photojournalist Aspen Hester talked to residents about what they want to see.
It's gotten worse.
Crime and violence remains a top concern for neighbors in the Newburgh neighborhood. Vernita Brown has lived in Newburgh for 30 years and used to run the Newburgh Community Center.
I remember when you could walk out your door and feel safe. I remember you could ride around any part of the city and feel safe. but that's not the way it is anymore.
Brown is looking forward to the Office for Safe and Healthy Neighborhoods to invest its 6th violence interruption site in Newburgh. The $2 million project is a 3-year program aiming to prevent gun violence before it actually happens. Community members and stakeholders will work together to develop programs to reduce gun violence.
You might have a problem that I don't have. You may see something that I can solve that I can't, but we need unity.
So far, there are 5 interruption sites in the Portland, Shawnee, California, Russell, and Smoketown neighborhoods. Councilwoman Barbara Shanklin is excited about the program coming to Newburgh.
This $2 million investment in our community will help leaders better engage with our at-risk youth.
Shanklin hopes this will bring more youth inside the buildings instead of out in the streets.
Really a good feeling. The mayor and the Safe and Healthy Neighborhoods listen. They listen to us, and that's the most important thing.
Latoya Malone works closely with Newburgh Youth Weekly as an educator and volunteer. She's most concerned about getting them engaged in opportunities that are productive.
So I really hope that a lot of what their plans are involves prevention in relations to those things.
Malone says youth voices should also be at the table as an example to show exactly what the community wants.
And really just having a conversation with grassroots organizations and people who come here regularly and frequently.
Overall, she and others are looking forward to seeing how the Office for Safe and Healthy Neighborhoods uses the funding.
I would like to see what I've asked of youth to come to a reality, what I've heard them say they need and want to come to a reality.
In Louisville, Taylor Woods, WHAS 1119 on your side.
The city also plans to hire an additional outreach case coordinator and program manager for the Newburgh area. New information tonight, the former police chief in Bloomfield, Kentucky is now facing criminal charges. The Nelson County Sheriff's Office says following an investigation, a grand jury indicted Harry Steve Cambron of charges on tampering with physical evidence, falsely reporting an incident, and official misconduct. According to court documents, Cambron made false allegations against another Bloomfield employee and tried to withhold information during an investigation. The Bloomfield mayor fired Cambron and other city leaders last May. Cambron is scheduled to be arraigned on March 7th. Tonight, newly uncovered records are revealing the names of more than 1,600 enslaved people buried in unmarked graves in the St. Louis Cemetery in Tyler Park. The cemetery is the final resting place for nearly 50,000 Catholics, but a small section near the back corner of the cemetery looks unused. Deacon Ned Bergeson scoured through cemetery records and uncovered the names of 1,600 people buried there. Now he's been working with local activist and nationally recognized poet Hannah Drake to restore some of the dignity that was denied to the people buried there. Photojournalist Elijah McKenzie takes us to the cemetery as the two plan to release the names of the people buried there.
We are standing on unmarked graves in this space.
Enslavement touches everybody. It is the story of America. Chairs and then
there are 1,630 people who were put in this section that is designated for Black Catholics. The trees that are behind me were a visible way of demarcating that this was not a white section. It kind of forms a square here with this line of trees that comes down here up to the back of the space.
I want people, to see this field, to see this line of trees and understand that even in death there was segregation.
Annie McGarry, Blanche McGarry, Mary McGarry.
There's always a field.
To the bottom here, Smith.
There's always a field where Black people are buried in mass graves, or they're bricked over or covered over or erased. That's just kind of how history is for Black people in America. And it takes people like Ned, myself, others, to kind of exhume the stories. And that's what we're doing on Saturday. Like, who were these people that were here?
You have the same name, sometimes as many as 6 individuals. I think it's a first step in a longer process. It's part of a bigger story of the process of researching and uncovering the names of people buried in this section.
Everyone has a name, everyone. And everyone wants to be remembered. When you look around at this cemetery, all of these people wanted to be remembered. They wanted to say, I existed.
Tomorrow, the Unknown Project will host a remembrance ceremony and reading of the names for the people buried there. It'll be from 2 p.m. to 3:30 at the St. Louis Cemetery on Barrett Avenue.